Good morning, everybody. Still have a few people trickling in, so we'll just get started and kind of wait for them to come in. So today we're going to talk about how kind of AI is reshaping testing, right? And that comes, not just from BrowserStack, but from kind of the industry at large, right? And so I'm going to take you through our agenda, and I'm going to hand over to Sai, who's one of our product growth managers, who's going to take you through kind of the entire kind of agenda, and I'll pop back in at the end for some pieces and kind of wrap things up. So for today, we're going to run for about 45 minutes. We may run under that depending. All participants will be muted, but you can feel free to use the dedicated Q&A box to ask any questions. And we will have a dedicated Q&A at the end to handle any of those questions as well. The session is being recorded, and anybody who registered will receive the recording after the fact. So even if you're not here today, hi from the past. And yeah, as I said, the recording will be made available to everybody. So myself, I'm Gary Bean, and I'm the field CTO for BrowserStack. So what I do is I work with our kind of enterprise-grade customers on scalability, maturity, and various things, and I do various kind of thought leadership, objective setting, value drivers, various things like that to make sure that they're doing testing in the best possible way. And then we have Sairam, who is our product growth manager, who's going to be running most of the session today. And I'll let him introduce himself now. I'll do the agenda first. So I'll do the agenda. So we're going to basically just wrap up this introduction. We're going to get straight into our topics, which are AI revolution in the software industry, vision for AI in testing, practical use cases of AI in testing, and then our Q&A at the end. So this will encompass BrowserStack, but also what's going on in kind of the industry with AI as well. So it's going to be a broad scope. And I'm going to hand it over to Sai now to introduce himself.
Hey, awesome. Thanks so much, Gary. My name is Sairam. As Gary was saying, I work as a product growth manager. My work involves positioning and messaging for both BrowserStack AI and the test platform that we are building for BrowserStack, and mostly on central growth activities for BrowserStack itself. And anyway, let's just jump straight back into the topic. This is not just mine, but everybody's favorite topic these days. Not just these days, it's been 2 years, and every quarter seems like a lifetime in AI. It is not a far-fetched thing to say that it is reshaping the way we are building software. It is real, and we're able to see it in practical use cases, both in the B2B world and in the B2C world, mostly in customer support. But now we're seeing plenty of use cases being solved in the developers world. It is being solved in the nutrition world, in the fitness world. And there are plenty of things to talk about. And we are not seeing this as a short-term fad. We definitely believe in it. It is like you can see on the screen, the multi-year marathon. It's been happening since the 90s. Machine learning came on. It gave us a few use cases, and then we went to deep learning. Generative AI opened up possibilities. It is now giving us agentic AI. In fact, another branch of this is the MCP service, which we are not covering in this session. We'll definitely have more webinars focused specifically on MCP. But that is another beautiful thing that we would encourage you to explore by yourself as well. And the way a very good analogy that keeps coming up in our discussions and with our leaders in the company is how about 10 to 11 years ago, we used to talk about cloud-first companies. When cloud came in, it was a new technology that it became imperative that every company in the industry adopts cloud, right? Companies started becoming cloud first. And as BrowserStack, we see that happening in the future for software companies with regards to AI as well. We see more companies becoming AI first. From cloud, they will be obviously cloud first, but then AI first is going to be the new technology that is going to open up a lot of possibilities. We are barely scratching the surface right now. There are plenty more things that agentic models have opened up, plenty of manual things that can be sort of outsourced to AI agents. And one last thing I want to talk about on this slide is about the Jevons paradox. Just a quick insight into it. This is a 19th century concept and it came about from an economics angle of view, where industrialization was picking up all over the world, where more new technology always begets more technology. That is what we believe here as well. We don't think AI is going to phase out testers. In fact, We will need testers far more than we used to earlier, because there's a lot of AI slop in code and software that we see today, and it requires much more stringent testing. And we believe it the way is only up. I mean, the number of use cases that AI might give us. From there, this moves on to how testing has evolved over the last 20 years itself, right? Before 2010, 2008, there was 80-90% of testing was, even more than that, was just manual testing. And when automation came along, there was not a popular view, but a few sections of the society, of the testers and developers forums, believe that automation might replace manual testers, but that hasn't happened. Manual testing is still well and thriving, and we need that in our lives as well. And the same can be said about AI assisted testing. Now, this is where we as a company also want to play. This is where we expect the industry also to go. We are expecting lots of productivity increase thanks to faster cycle times. The reason I say faster cycle times is because slowly over the years, even in your sprint cycles, testing is usually seen as a bottleneck. And we believe that AI adoption in your teams, we believe that all testers needs to start adopting it, because there are a lot of these bottlenecks that can be resolved by using AI agents, right? We are already seeing a lot of workflows being disrupted, and we are seeing lots of gains on test coverage as well. Of course, we are here, but this is the North Star. This is what we want to get at, where the way we used to speak about automated testing about a decade ago, we start talking about AI assisted testing as well, where the tester makes use of all the AI tools available to them to give the best quality software output, right, without compromising on quality at all. This is how we see our vision. We see the industry's roadmap also heading towards here. Now, how are we doing this though? So, as a tester, for you, there is a continuous lifestyle. You plan for a testing activity, you start creating tests, you will execute your tests on your devices or on any of the device farms or on BrowserStack, and then you will check the analytics and then build on it. You log defects, the developers will build on. This is the usual life cycle that we see. Now, the reason I bring up this specific graph where we are showing the flow, and at each juncture, we are showing what are the key activities that a tester might be performing in these phases, right? So in a lot of our conversations with the customers, our conversations with the direct practitioners, it could be many forums, it was on Reddit and Stack Overflow as well. We noticed that AI is being looked at as a chatbot that can spit out an AI script for you, that can spit out an automated script for you. You could ask your ChatGPT wrapper or Claude AI to give you a script, and it will give you a script. But that is a very limited use case in testing. We realize that across the testing lifecycle, there are a lot of jobs that testers do, which are on your screen right now. Of course, this is not exhaustive. These are some of the use cases or jobs that we see could be disrupted by AI, especially in testing. Right. So we went ahead and identified this with the help of our customers, with the help of our own QA teams, and we came up with this. And our vision is to develop AI agents for every step of the testing lifecycle. Now, planning, creation, execution, validation, these are the steps. And at all these steps, we want to be able to have AI agents across. That is our vision for the future, the most foreseeable future, which is the next year. And we have already started experimenting with this. We have the AI agents. We have seen early success as well. But just to double down over here, the reason we want to do this is because we want to provide value across. It should not be a question and answer format for testing where at every juncture you ask your chatbot what to do and it will give you an answer, but we want it to be more seamless, more integrated within your product workflows. If you are doing cross-browser testing in your execution cycle, we want it to be We don't want you to leave your testing workflow and go somewhere else and come back to BrowserStack. We want you to stay within the flow so that you don't get distracted. That these are the key things that we keep in mind before we start even thinking about building a new agent, right? Now, as I was mentioning earlier, we have already worked on this. We have already seen early success. We were able to build a few agents. I just wanted to give you a sneak peek on this. Both Carrie and I will give you on this. The first one that we want to talk about is inside our test management product. The reason we chose test management is because test management as a product is because that we see that as an entry point for any tester. This is your test case repository where you will plan your tests, you will write down your test cases, right? Straight off the bat, we came up with a test case generator agent. Now, this one has two main use cases. I want to talk a little bit about the history of this as well. As we were integrating AI into our products, we wanted to understand what is the highest value a user might get in a test management product from AI. You all, like we have already spoken before, you obviously have your own chatbot where you can give a prompt and get your test cases. But as a test platform, as a BrowserStack test platform, we are able to leverage far more than just a single prompt to give you the relevant test cases for any scenario. For example, you could be a tester for Zomato. And in Zomato, there is a login form, there is a sign up form, and there is a e-commerce form. If you focus just on the login form, your product manager or your developer will obviously have certain requirements based on which test cases can be created. Now, these test cases will obviously be divided into scenarios, like we were speaking earlier, in a login scenario or a sign up scenario or an add to cart scenario. We have been able to develop an agent which can take all your existing context from your test case repository. It is going to read your folder names, your test cases, understand the PRD, and give you an almost exhaustive list of scenarios and test cases inside it. So that you don't sit and work for hours together on building the perfect test repository. So this solves your blank slate problem, where straight off the bat, you will get about 85 to 90% test cases, which you can work with immediately. Not just that, the test cases will also be ready with details, test steps that you have to follow, the priority of the test cases based on how important it is, and the requirements as well, which we are calling it as autofill test case fields, but immediately you can go ahead and try it on the BrowserStack test management tool. So an enhancement on top of this is, like we were speaking earlier, we don't want to play on just prompts. We are able to generate these test cases based on lots of rich context, which spans documents, Excel sheets. It could have presentations, it could have images, it could have videos, and context from previous PRDs, context from your Jira stories, context from your website analytics, which is one of my favorite things because imagine being the tester of, again, say Zomato.com and saying, based on the user flow, can you generate test cases? Based on what frequent flows that users have, can you generate test cases? These are things that we look forward to in the future that we can bring into test management. And that is just covering the input part. Even in the output, we are in a position where we can give you complete customizability, complete control over the output, where you can choose what format you want it in. If you want it in Gherkin, this is a support that we have added recently. If you want it in a preferred language, that is also a support that we are that we have right now on the platform. And this, by making sure there is full transparency, right? Transparency and accountability, meaning you should know where your output is coming from. You should know why you should know why the output is such and where it is coming from. And what are the ways BrowserStack gives you this output? Basically, we basically there is one test management platform where you can perform all of these actions without exiting the window, without switching windows, without switching context, in a sense. We have obviously done some internal benchmarkings on this. The reason we are seeing 90% faster text creation for sure. We are able to see greater coverage as well, and we are benchmarking ourselves against ChatGPT and obviously QoS without AI. This was almost a quarter-long exercise where we had made experiments within our testing teams, where certain teams work without AI, certain teams work with ChatGPT, and those with just the BrowserStack AI agent. And this was also worked uh, on to make sure that the results are unbiased. The PRDs, the inputs that were given for all of these teams were very similar in quality, so that we can judge the end result well. Of course, we don't want to stop over here. The North Star is always to reach higher. We are looking at a 98% coverage increase by next year. We are putting a lot of effort into it. And the reason we're able to do it is because this is not a ChatGPT wrapper. We just don't call the API, the OpenAI API, and we don't get results like that. Since we have been in testing for over 13 years now, um, there's a lot of domain knowledge that our teams have built, which can use multiple models, not just one wrapper, but multiple models, and blend them and give you the best result, uh, which aligns with your testing workflow. That was the vision for test management's AI agents. We have a couple of more agents inside this project, which are inside this product, which are working really well. We have the test selection agent. Essentially, what this does is directly from your app, you can. I'm so sorry. At this point, we'll just take a quick poll on this to understand AI and test case management, where you think it can provide most value in your journey. And as you can, as you answer, we'll just continue with the agent presentation. Right. So we were talking about the test selection agent, where the agent can understand the context of your repositories. It will read your folders, your test cases that are written, and choose the most relevant test cases for your test run. Now, test runs are collectively created for a particular sprint. Over there, when as the agent reads the name of your test run, which is, for example, sign up flow for Zomato.com, it is going to pick all the relevant test cases for it and run the test run. So there is another agent that we've come up with, which is a low-code authoring agent, where you can create automated tests directly from a manual test case. Our test management product allows you to create manual test cases with the test case title, test case steps, etc. And from the steps, you're able to create an automated test on another product of BrowserStack, which is called low-code automation. So the journey when you click on the automate using BrowserStack AI button, it takes you from the test management product to low-code automation, where you can directly see on the screen what the manual test case that you have written for the login flow on Zomato.com. That is
Sorry, can I add
about.
something there?
Yes. Please do.
Yeah, so just to give an example, real world example, something that I've seen in my travels and dealing with customers, is that the power of what I'm calling kind of the triforce of efficiency, or the triangle of efficiency, if you're not a Legend of Zelda fan, is the Jira test case management and low-code automation together. So we worked with a customer, a big insurance company in Europe, who wanted to keep most of their people inside Jira as much as possible. They didn't want them moving between 5 or 6 different applications to get their work done. And what they loved was that through Jira, they were able to create their test cases from their Jira tickets, which they have a lot of. They're an agile company. They work in sprints. And from there, they were able to create test cases. They were able to create test runs because of the plugin in Jira. And then by creating low-code automation tests from those test cases, they went from I think they said they 7x their speed in terms of creating tests and creating automation as compared to before. And it also enabled their less skilled, kind of more manual testers to really like contribute a hell of a lot of automation to the business overall over the course of a number of sprints. And it was a game changer for them because they were kind of stuck in this rut of testing the same things over and over again. And there was a lot of attrition and stuff. So it was really great to see a real world example of that working for them and to see how it can really supercharge your testing, your efficiency.
Yeah, Gary, that actually helps because we also want to empower as many people as possible. Right? Testing shouldn't be gate kept from people who will not code.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. This is something that enables someone who's a manual tester to move on to automated testing as well and speed up their processes as a result. Right. And from there, Gary, actually, could you continue speaking
Oh, that's
on
me.
The next agent?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so our self-healing agent is more of an automation-based thing. It's a small feature, but it's one that we find is very powerful. So what it does is it basically allows your test to keep running even when a locator in your code doesn't match with what's being seen on the page. So, if the UI has moved to somewhere else or if it's changed locators or whatever that might be. So let's say you have like a buy button on an e-commerce website, and your web developer in the last sprint went in and changed the ID or the class name or whatever locator you were using to something different. When you run your test without self-healing, it's just going to fail. And it didn't need to fail because of the change that you didn't account for. So what self-healing does is it goes and it finds the relevant locator for that specific element because it knows from previous context, and this is where the AI comes in. It's using previous runs of your tests to go and say, okay, right, this worked before. Let me go look for a locator. It will tell you the locator it used, click on the button and move on and pass your test, right? Now, we're not quite at the stage where it can update your code for you. I have hopes that we'll get there eventually, but it will give you the locator in your log file on your BrowserStack report where you can just copy and paste it into your code and the test will then work from then on. Or you can go and find a different locator if that's what you want, but it's basically a way to stop you from spending time debugging when you didn't need to spend time debugging. So it's, again, it's about efficiency, assistance, and time saving overall. And then on the next slide, we talk a lot about all the different agents that we have, right? And how using AI can really help us, right? But what we find is that the power is really in the BrowserStack platform, the entire platform of tools, because when you have like a unified set of test data, that can really like unlock AI that is superior to everything else. And Sai touched on it earlier, how like our metrics are higher than when you do it through ChatGPT, because when you put the same prompts into ChatGPT, you're getting a lot of noise from other facets of the industry that are not test-based. In our agents, because we use our own kind of models and agents inside of our AI, we're able to basically fine-tune it to be testing specific. So it's only new data that's really relevant. And by pulling in the context from things like PRDs and test plans and test cases, it's able to give you more context and more accurate kind of test cases based on that. And that's something that we don't see a lot of in other tools. And and again, Sai alluded to this earlier, but it's not just a wrapper for ChatGPT. It's its own thing. It's a living thing that's able to kind of decipher what you're looking for and make it make sense in a testing environment. And if you're kind of building automation at the same time, it will use those automation cases in test management to flesh out your test cases as well. And then it also increases the overall traceability of your testing as well. So you can tack your automated tests to your manual tests, keep track of what is automated versus what is not, and really just build up more and more context so that every time you do a new prompt or a new PRD, it gets stronger and more accurate every single time. Not that it's not accurate the first time, but it gets even more accurate, adds more context to it. And that's very, very powerful for us. And I think the next slide is the Q&A, right? Yeah.
Yes. Actually, I am going through the Q&A section.
Same,
There
yeah.
are plenty. Yeah, I've been answering them on text as well. Gary, we can divide these questions
Perfect.
ourselves based on whichever is relevant for both of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I see a common question over here about how we defined and measured early success and how we have measured the fact that the test cases generated by our AI agent was accurate and how fast it is. So quick thing, I'll just quickly describe the process of how we had done it. So we have our own QA teams. We have written by hand, not through AI. We have written by hand a PRT and fed it into ChatGPT. We have given that is one exercise, and we have given it to this QA team, and we have given it to a QA team with BrowserStack AI. So that is three sets. In these three sets, over the next 3 to 4 weeks, the requirements changed, the PRD evolved, and new PRDs also got generated. We try to make sure that the quality of PRD is similar across these three sets. And based on this, there was a QA control team which judged the test case quality that came out of these three different teams. And based on that, we have arrived at our internal benchmarking with the support of our QA teams to come to this 90% faster test creation number. I have also seen a question on this about how about what is the percentage of these test cases that are not so valid to the not so valid for the requirement given. There's always a percentage of test cases that are not so relevant for the scenario given by the PM. But we've noticed that the difference between without AI and with the BrowserStack AI agent, excuse me, the ratio tilts towards the BrowserStack AI agent. And we want to improve this. And the reason we're able to do this is because AI can identify that many more um, uh, paths and thereby increasing the test coverage. That is how we are doing. There's a question about whether or not there's a wrapper around GPT. No, answer that question. Demos of these AI agents, please do reach out to us to our sales team. We do want to demo these features with you. Currently, there was a question about it being open source as well. That is, it is not right now. You have to reach out to our sales team and we'll get a demo scheduled for you. Please do indicate on the poll as well. If you want to talk to our sales team, we will reach out to you ourselves. We will reach out to you ourselves so that you can indicate your interest. Another question on this. Can we create test cases for both mobile and web? Gary, both mobile and web is possible today. Right?
Correct. Yeah, you just give it the context in the prompt, or the PRD will state it, and it should then give you tests that are web focused and tests that are mobile focused, and you can then organize those into buckets and move them around as needed as well.
There's a question about how we blend multiple agents. Do we have our own agent? No. So we don't blend multiple agents. We blend multiple models. By models, I mean OpenAI has a model, Llama has a model, Claude has a model. So we try to get the best output by bringing these three, not just these three, all the models available and all of those that you might see on Hugging Face as well. We bring them together to give you the best output in testing. There's an interest with low-code automation. How are the web elements handled in this case? The elements are dynamically changing, and how reliable is the low-code automation model? That's a good question. Gary, does that cover with self-healing?
Sorry, can you repeat that for me? Sorry, I was just answering one of the poll questions.
Sure. There's a question about how low-code automation handles web elements. Elements are always dynamically changing, and how reliable is the low-code automation model?
It's pretty reliable because it will use the same kind of self-healing methods that we use in Automate to identify that if the test was run previously. So if it's the first time you're running it and it's different for some reason, which is unlikely, then there may be an issue. But if it's after running it a few times, you should see that say it's a buy button, it will look for a buy button rather than the specific locator that was there if it can't find it, and it will click on it then for that. So it will actually adjust itself for you based on that.
Awesome. There is also a question, quite a few questions about whether or not the AI agents are GA. Well, we have in fact done a big launch yesterday. They are available on our products already. They are available on the test management product, on the automate product, on the low-code automation product, and there are many more to come. Please do log into browserstack.com. You'll be able to see what all agents are already live. We also have an accessibility product inside which we have the accessibility issue detection engine. What it does is it reads your website and it can tell you what parts of the website don't pass the WCAG guidelines, and also suggest a fix as a developer what you can do to get to that rule and ship your tool. We also have a visual review agent that is already live, which you can see on the Percy product. Really encourage you to go ahead and check this feature out. There's a question on what is the accuracy on element selection. This, I believe, is about the self-healing agent. I think the accuracy is not measured directly like this, but we have seen at least 40% fewer build failures because of UI broken locators, right? By broken locators, I mean things that shouldn't get flagged do get flagged in your regular process, but self-healing agent helps you mitigate that. If it doesn't need an immediate fix, it will not go for it. Right. So there's a question on, okay, this is funny. Developers love to have everything in one place. Do you have plans to integrate it with Jira or Stash so that everything is on one place and less context switching? This is definitely on the future roadmap, but we can't give you timelines for sure. We want to first test all of the AI capabilities on the products. Although if you're referring to the Jira app of the test management app, over there, the AI agents are already available. Although the full for the full feature set, you would probably need to try out the product and then you'll get to know what it is. We are very happy to do a POC with your team. Can we get the PPT? The recording will be made live. Get it? I'm just skimming through the questions, Gary.
Same. I'm just answering as many as I can now.
Oh, awesome.
So just to reiterate the Jira thing. So you can
please
do an awful lot in Jira through test management. You can create test cases from Jira, you can create test cases manually, you can create your test runs, you can view results, you can pass and fail tests, you can change the results. There's a lot of stuff in there that will keep you from having to move into test management. The only scenarios where you need to move into test management is to do the low-code automation test, which I'm hopeful that we will add in the future as part of the plugin so that you can stay in one place for everything. But right now, that is the kind of the main scenario where you need to move over to the actual test case management site to do anything. Most of the kind of test case related stuff you need to do can be done inside Jira, including editing the test case, changing the results. All of those things can be done. You can kick off your test runs. You can view the results. It's a very powerful plugin that kind of keeps the focus on Jira.
Thanks, Gary. There is one question about there's a test management specific question about whether or not we can download test cases in an Excel sheet. You definitely can. We have a feature where you can export your test case repository into a CSV, and that will help you do this. How can we trust an autonomous healing decision by AI without manual verification? Oh, great question. We also don't believe that you should completely trust AI agents. That is why we want to emphasize on the fact that we are moving towards AI assisted testing, where the self-healing agent can bring out the most obvious errors to you, but we don't recommend that you let it pass on without any manual review, which is where we as humans become very important, and we don't believe that AI can completely replace manual verification at all. Question on low-code automation agent only supports web testing at the moment. Do we have plans of expanding it to support native mobile apps? 100%. This is on the roadmap. In the coming quarter, in fact, teams are already working on this. We are testing it amongst our own QA team. And sometime in the next quarter, we plan to release this feature for mobile phones on low-code automation. After generating test cases, will it also generate automation scripts in our preferable language? Here, I take it the question means in your preferred framework or your preferred JavaScript or the preferred language for automated scripts. This is a feature that we will enable on low-code automation. The agent will be called low-code script authoring agent, and that is also planned in the next few months. There are a lot of agents that are being developed as of now, and this is obviously one of them. Is there a possibility that self-healing may ignore potential bugs? Maybe this change it is seeing is actually a bug. We believe that it is not ignoring bugs at this moment. We have not seen any problems with it in our testing teams. But please do let us know as feedback if you have already used this agent. We encourage you to use this agent, test it out for your team. But Gary, has there been any flags in the past or anything about self-healing agent ignoring potential bugs?
No, not that I've seen. I mean, it's not going to report the bug for you, but at the very least, using our dashboards, when you notice that a selector has been healed, you can report a bug on that particular test, which will send that report to the developer. It'll be in Jira in a ticket. You can assign it to the right person, and they can go, "Oh yeah, that was changed for that reason." Now, typically, when a link is changed or a locator is changed, there's a reason for it, but QA has just not been told, essentially. So what would usually happen in that scenario is you would create a ticket to update the code. So you might be the one testing it, but you're not the one updating the code itself. If you are, you can just update it. If not, there's a single click button inside our dashboard to report a bug on Jira. You can attach all the details to it, videos, logs, the whole shebang into it and go, this is the issue. This is the locator that was changed. And this needs to be updated now. And then you can track the status of that in Jira then from then on. That's if you're not the one updating the code.
Thanks, Gary. There's also a good question about privacy that gives us an opportunity to tell you about BrowserStack's terms anyway. See, we don't have an LLM of our own. We don't train our LLM. We don't use our user data for training our LLM. That is something we don't do. What we do with our AI agents is say, if you are a user with BrowserStack, your data will be used only to give an output for you. Meaning, if, for example, if I and Gary were two different groups or two different companies, which are with BrowserStack, my data will never be used for Gary's company or for Gary's team, where Gary's output will be decided. So essentially, your data is boxed in. Whatever data you provide is boxed into your group ID only or your customer ID only. Will not be passed on to anything else, and that is a policy that we want to follow because we don't want to violate any guidelines over there. So there is a question on that about internal application or under product testing. This is and whether or not the agent can be installed to browser or OS. This is a little bit outside of the purview of BrowserStack at the moment because we do web application testing and mobile application testing. Over there, privacy is something that is of utmost importance to us. We don't want our own data to be used by somebody else as well. And the same way, we don't want to misuse our customer data, and it is protected like that. Gary, can self-healing approaches be extended to non-functional tests like performance and security testing at this moment?
Not at this point, no. It's purely UI driven.
Awesome. Maybe in the future. I remember seeing it on one of the roadmaps, but right now it is not supported. Right. So there's another security question. We have dealt with that. Okay, there's a question about again about ChatGPT being available and there are other free tools that are available. So why choose BrowserStack? It ties into the test platform actually. Since if you are using a BrowserStack product, your test data exists across multiple BrowserStack products. So we are able to use that unified data to give you the best kind of output. obviously you can use ChatGPT as well. The edge we have over the free tools that you have in the market uh, is that we can leverage data across your testing lifecycle and solve for use cases across the testing lifecycle that we were speaking in an earlier slide, right? About solving for use cases across the testing lifecycle. This is our aim. So because you are using a BrowserStack product, we are able to generate the best kind of output for you because of the unified data across the testing platform. There is a question on which AI model we are using on BrowserStack. Let me drop this link on chat where we describe our AI terms. Please just allow me a moment. Yes. Pranav, can you help put this link for everyone? See, move on to the next question. For those 92% current versus 98% North Star values for test coverage, how is the coverage being measured? This is so we are using expertise from our own teams, our own QA leaders who come up with the ideal test case scenarios and the ideal number of test cases and all the scenarios that we need to be covered. And that is what we are comparing all the results against. How can I access AI agents? Any demo or trial versions available? The best way to do this is to reach out to our sales team, which can do a POC with your team so that you can see it in action and in front of your eyes. I believe that is the best way you can see the magic of BrowserStack AI agents. Right, we will take one more question. Can we give repository as an input to generate test cases, or maybe a PRD to generate test cases only for PRD? Okay. What I'm understanding is whether or not your existing repository can be used to generate test cases, 100%. Whenever you give a prompt or your PRD to the BrowserStack AI agent, the test case generator agent, it will read your test case repository and generate the best output for you. That way, there won't be any duplicate test cases as well. In fact, in beta, we also have an agent which looks for duplicate test cases and helps you remove those as well. Obviously, after you checking whether or not it is actually duplicate, it will not automatically do it. It is always giving you a step to review and then going ahead with your workflow. There are plenty of questions to answer. Actually, Gary, there are at least 100 more. I think we will definitely we'll take this offline because I think that's the most efficient way. We want to share this recording also with you guys, and we will share insights and answers to those questions. We'll consolidate them all and give you a good write-up as a reply to as an email with the recording. And Gary has been I've been seeing on the window, has been typing away at answering these questions.
Yeah.
I see that you answered. Yeah, I see you answered at least 45. I answered only 3. I think Gary has answered 45 questions, which is great. There are 100 more, and we won't be able to cover it in this session. Thank you so much for attending this wonderful session. We have so many more coming up. All right, and thank you so much for attending this session, folks. This was wonderful. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.